Munir Ajam, SUKAD, Applied Project Management channel on YouTube. Possibly the last video on the series, at least today, on the role of the project manager. In this video, I want to focus on, and I'm touch on ISO and the PMBOK guide, or the Project Management Body of Knowledge guide that's produced by PMI. When we read this guide, and maybe even some of those of us who study for the PMP certification, we notice, or we might lose sight, because it sounds like that the project manager is doing everything. The project manager is estimating, the project manager is scheduling, the project manager is doing the risk assessment, the project manager is building the matrix organization, the project manager is doing the life cycle, and so on and so forth. That could be misleading. That could be misleading for many reasons. One, and I have talked about this one in the videos I did for a course on applying the PMBOK guide in the real world. The first gap in that is that usually a lot of what we do will probably have to refer back to the organizational processes and historical data that exist. So there is something there that are done by PMO or project management department or some other function that we can use. So the project manager is not inventing all of these things. That's one. The second, it's often enough the project manager is working with a team and with a project management team. Now here, what does it mean? What it means is that the project manager is not necessarily the one who is estimating or scheduling or doing the risk assessment. Yes, the project manager, especially as we move toward bigger, larger, more complex project, the project manager is the one who needs to lead the work, to manage the work, but not necessarily the one who's doing all of that work. And that's very important to understand, because we often see, especially the majority of probably certified PMPs and PMI followers in the world today are maybe coming from technology, and they don't understand that there is someone else on the team, on the project management team, or they don't even know what the project management team is. They just think there is a project manager, and then there is the technical people who are doing the work, and which means the project manager doing the scheduling, the planning, and all of that stuff. In reality, that's not the case. In the capital project industry, even on small project, one of the things, for example, we'll find very different, estimating. Estimating is done by a group that report to project management, but they do not necessarily report to the project manager. I had done some cost estimating videos before, and we'll discuss about the independence of the estimator. And I started my career in a department like that, where we estimate, and then we report to the project manager to tell them what we are estimating, and the project manager is not the one who can dictate what that project estimate should have in it, or a scheduler. So you will have an independent unit because there is without a conflict of interest. I know, again, reading or studying something like the PMBOK guide, it says, well, we need to have the team to estimate. So who is better to estimate than the people who are doing the work? Well, again, if you are doing with small projects, and if you are doing with something maybe you haven't done before, yeah, of course, I will go down to the worker and the people who are doing the work and ask their opinion. However, an organization that have built a project management system, historical data, maturity, then an independent estimating unit should be able to estimate without having to go ask people, hey, how many hours do you need to do this task, and how many hours do you need to do this task? Imagine, especially in capital project, the person who's doing the work on the ground, the labor, the construction people, the engineer, probably they are outsourced, and they will not be involved with the project until maybe a year or two later in the future. So in this case, what we are trying to say is that the role of the project manager could vary. On a small project, an organization with probably not a high level of project management maturity, the project manager might be doing everything, and probably without all the processes, and maybe they skip half of the processes that are discussed in ISO 21500 or the PMBOK guide. Is that good? And I'm not going to be a judge here. Yeah? It all obviously is all a function of what the organization's culture is, and the type of the project, and the size and complexity of the project. And remember, project management must be adaptive. But I'm doing this video as part of the series because we want to highlight that the difference is that is just someone have the title of project manager. That's not an indicator of much unless we know what is done with the organization. So, a roles and responsibility of the project manager in a small project environment, in a micro or small project environment in an organization, then yes, of course, that project manager might be the one who's doing the estimating, the scheduling, the planning, the risk assessment, maybe even the quality control, and so many other things. As project get bigger, then maybe that project manager role is more of an oversight. And then the other people might be doing, as a specialist, project management specialist on the team might be doing that role. And as a minimum, what we say is the project manager, and maybe I'll close this video with this, the project manager is the one who must lead the project work in line with the organization culture and system and processes, and be able to take a project from idea to closure. Now, whether the project is too small, the project manager can do that on his or her own, is one thing, or whether the project is big and they need to have a project management team, a small project management team or a large project management team, then, and independent of the technical team that's doing the work, that's another thing. So, one more time, what is the best answer in project management to start with always? It depends. And with it depends, I will leave you until maybe another series of videos or topics someday in the future. When? It depends. Good day.